Whittom. I'm in the Friday group. For this presentation, we were asked to talk about the real thing in our life. At first, I didn't really understand what the real thing was. When I realized that the real thing was something important for me, I thought about so many things. For this oral presentation, I could have talked about my program, which fascinates me a lot. I could have talked about my ultimate goal as a nurse, or I could have talked about my favorite sport. But after thinking about it for a while, I realized that the real thing in my life is something much simpler. The real thing in my life is my family. So, yeah, that's my parents. Parents are with us literally since day one. They taught us so many things, from how to walk, how to talk, how to eat, to how to be a great person, have good values, and be nice around other people. My parents met when they were 17 years old, and since that, a lot has happened. My dad is now a firefighter, and my mom is an ICU nurse. I'm so blessed to have this extraordinary family. Last year, I fully realized the importance of family. Why did I only realize the importance of family at 18 years old? It's because before that, I took my family for granted. When you think about people dying, you don't think about your parents, you think about your grandparents. So, on August 7, 2018, my granddad died, and it was the first time that I was confronted by death. It was awful, but also predictable because he was very sick. In the following month, my dad was in formation to be in the climbing and confined space team. My dad never complains about himself, but he was always saying that he felt very tired and he just thought he wasn't in great shape anymore. So he decided to go run, but unfortunately he wasn't able to run like he did before. On September 13, 2018, my dad took some blood tests because he was feeling abnormally weak. And the next day, on September 14, our family doctor called him and he told him to go at the emergency of the hospital L'Enfant Jésus and that someone will be waiting for him there. That couldn't be great news. Meanwhile, I was in my philosophy class. When I got out of class, I looked at my cell phone and I had a text from my mom which says, "I'm at the emergency with your dad, don't panic." So, despite what she told me, I panicked and my worries were uncontainable. So, I took my car and I drove to the emergency where I met my mom. When I saw her, I knew it was serious just by seeing the look on her face. So, I asked her, "Is that okay? Is he going to die?" And she told me, "I don't know." And my mom has a lot of knowledge on health and on the human body, so that really scared me. So, yeah. When I entered in the room, I saw that my dad was in neutropenia isolation, which means his immune system was very weak, and he was also receiving a blood transfusion. That's when it hit me. My dad wasn't healthy anymore, and my life has changed forever. My dad was diagnosed with chronic leukemia at only 45 years old. He received 23 transfusions of blood product. He had 5 rounds of chemotherapy and he was hospitalized for 3 weeks. Fortunately, my dad has started to work again. He's in the climbing and confined space unit and he's healthy, he's in great shape, and he has a very slim chance of falling into recidivism. I learned a lot of things last year. I learned a lot of things in my life, but particularly last year, I realized that the real thing in my life is really my family and that it is so important and you never know when it could fall apart. So if I could teach you only one thing by sharing my story, it would be thankful for what you have and don't take anything for granted because you never know when your life could turn upside down. Thank you for listening to me.